and let's get ready to ramble. All right, guys, ladies, gentlemen, Tuesday night crew. I did not move to California. First and foremost, I feel like that is what we need to address. I can't remember if I actually put it on YouTube, but I put it everywhere else and for April Fools, and it was my first and only ever successful April Fools joke. But I've already thought of one for next year, and I'm kind of excited about it. So yeah, first and foremost, we needed to address that. Um, Secondly, it's good to see you all. I'm sorry that I missed the last 3 weeks. I think it's been 3 weeks since I hopped on here. Lot has happened since then. I did go to California, didn't move there, did go to California for WrestleMania, which was the most incredible experience ever. So if we want to chat about that, please, I'm ready to do that. So ask away any question you might have. Um, so went to WrestleMania. Monty had gave us the worst scare of our lives, of course, while we were out in California. And then got back, went to what else happened? Oh my gosh, there's been so much. Got back from that, went to NRA, got back from that, and then why did I miss last week? Oh, taxes. Well, that's not really a good excuse, but I definitely don't like to do my taxes before I absolutely have to, because I always owe taxes. So yeah. Anyway, um, Cowboy Jeff, glad you're on here. Of course, I'm fashionably late tonight. I did go live over on Instagram first, and then I saw a question come in like last second, and then I was like, oh, they already know I'm always late. So, yeah, love y'all. Thanks for being on here. Charlie, happy birthday. It is the most perfect day today, the perfect date. Not too hot, not too cold. All you need is a light jacket. King of Women. So cool you went to WrestleMania. Yeah. And also wooed. Josiah, glad you're on here. Astro Guy, what's up from Ohio? J Patrick, glad you're on here. There's a bunch of people on here. Adam, Jathan, Colton, glad you're all here. It's been too long, and yeah, my rabbit is back there just like pretending to be a statue. I can't decide if she's just like angry at me or if she's trying to go to sleep or what the heck's going on. But sorry to hear about your truck. Yeah. Okay, so that's something, right? Because this whole truck thing has been going on for a while. Like I mean, it started in February. Is when I started having issues. And then I'm sure that the last time we talked, my truck was in the shop. And they let me drive a 4Runner for a little while, which I absolutely loved. Sorry, I just saw an email come through, which I absolutely loved. But now I'm questioning everything I thought I knew about Toyota just because of how much trouble I've been having with my truck. So yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of torn between like potentially a 4Runner or potentially a Bronco or potentially just keeping my truck for longer, which is probably what I'll do because yeah, buying a car is kind of hard right now. There's just a lot going on. It was a great April Fool's joke. We knew you wouldn't leave Georgia. Yeah, I have way too much invested here. We just built out that range, and number one, I just would not work in California. Also, gas was $7 a gallon, and yeah, not happening. Who's your favorite wrestler? That's the real question. So current or past? That's my next question. I also have trouble picking this one. I don't know if you've noticed that with like Gun of the Days or people asking me my favorite firearm. I have trouble picking just one. So also male or female, does that matter? Because yeah, I don't know. Golly darn it, I need to be better at the IG. Yeah, it's a whole different that's a whole different game. You're on YouTube and I appreciate you being here. So thank you. What do you think of the new WWE title belt? I think it looks amazing. I'm hoping this means that the other two are going away. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure how they're gonna work it in, but I am very curious. I was pretty excited about the unveiling last night. I was falling asleep and then I heard Triple H come on and I like peeked my eyes open and I knew my husband was going to be really excited about the belt because he's been talking about it for years and he was kind of hoping that it would happen with Cody Rhodes winning at WrestleMania and then combining the belts and bringing that look back. But anyway, I'm happy it's coming back, but curious to see what they're going to do with it, with the other two, I guess. Rachel, that would explain why you didn't say anything about the April Fool's joke when I asked. Oh, I don't I'm sorry, but it was an April Fool's joke, so quit watching wrestling, the storylines. Yeah, some of the storylines are my favorite. I don't know. It's hard to tell what they're actually doing, and then some of the stuff is like gold. So we'll see. What's up from your wrestling friend from Indiana? Hey, glad you're on here. Yeah, we did talk about wrestling for quite a while at NRA. Past male or female doesn't matter. Okay, so I um did not grow up a wrestling fan, right? So I kind of got into this by my husband, and then I met I met Braun Strowman or Adam at what am I trying to say? At SHOT Show. And then that kind of like I came home talking about it to my husband because I kind of recognized him. I kind of recognized Braun Strowman from wrestling, from my husband watching it in the background, and then my husband kind of fell off from watching it. So I like got into it hardcore. I guess it was like 2017. But I started and my husband was like, you have to watch the old stuff first. So we went way back, and then I absolutely fell in love with Dusty Rhodes, and then found out he died like the same week before I ever like got to be a real fan, which like I fell in love with him and then found out he died all in the same week and was like absolutely crushed. Um yeah, so Dusty will probably always be my favorite wrestler. Yeah, we'll go with that. Where are we at? Oh, heck. Turned down a job in California a few years back. Can you imagine having to go through your gun cabinet, picking through what you can and cannot take? No, I cannot at all. My mom, when I was a child too, she worked for Lockheed Martin, and they were moving her entire group out to California, which was obviously not going to work with my family's lifestyle and what my dad's interested in and everything. So, um, I'm pretty sure her entire group started looking for new jobs just because the cost of living was so insane compared to here in Georgia. Even back then, this was before I was born. I think actually it might not have been. I don't know, but yeah, obviously didn't move, or obviously my upbringing would have been very different. Did your husband train as a wrestler? Yes, he did. I can't remember if I talked about this before because I think the last time I went live was before his showcase, but he just went to wrestling school. He went to Nightmare Factory here in Georgia, which is run by Cody Rhodes and QT Marshall. Um, and he had his debut at the end of March, and it was amazing. And I will show anybody that will watch his video because I'm just so proud of him. Fun fact about my husband is that when we met when we were really young, but when we met, we were in seventh grade, and he introduced himself as Chadzilla, future professional wrestler, and he just did his debut as Chadzilla, professional wrestler, and did an amazing job. Won his first match. If he retired now, he's 1-0, undefeated. So I don't know what he's gonna do with it, but I'm excited to see and just really proud of him for doing what he dreamed of. Had to stop in and say, "Hey, Swamp Dog, what's up? Glad you're on here. Are you gonna be at GunCon? Because it has been a while since we've seen you." Dusty Rhodes, I've wined and dined with kings and queens, but I've slept in alleys and dined on pork and beans. He's the best. We actually just watched the documentary series about him, or the documentary about him that they had. I think it's on A&E. Although the one I watched, every time Dustin came on or it was a really emotional scene, it would cut to a commercial and then skip over it. So part of me is mad that I didn't get to see it all, and I'll probably watch it again. But the other part of me is like, thank you, because every time I almost started crying, it would skip. um, how are you doing? I haven't seen you on oh, sorry. Y'all are talking to each other. Glad y'all are friends in here. So when's he making his AEW debut? Yeah, I don't know. Chadzilla, a name of a king. Y'all are awesome. I wonder if he can hear me talking in here about him. He probably keeps hearing me say his name, so he's probably like tuning in. Hey, Kenneth, what's up? Glad you're on here. Take care, and thank you and your family for always posting positive stuff. Thank you, Jay Patrick. Hey, we do miss you, Swamp Dog. All of us do. I'm seriously starting to wonder if my rabbit is like sleeping with her eyes open because she has not really moved in like 35, 40 minutes, something like that. Max, what's up? Glad you're on here. Also, I'm drinking coffee tonight, which is probably why I haven't yawned yet. But yeah, last night, like if you picked up on me talking about the wrestling championship changing, um, then you may have heard that I was falling asleep, and that was at like 9 o'clock. So coffee, although it's cold coffee, and that's okay. Okay, so this whole first like 10 minutes has been completely about wrestling. What else y'all want to know? We did just get back from NRA, which actually we got back like a week and a half ago. Whoops. Or no, I guess it's only been a week. Because we got back on Monday. I like the songs. Roddy Piper is my favorite. Okay, so I did not know because I didn't watch wrestling as a kid, because we weren't allowed to watch a lot of stuff as kids. But I used to come down and sometimes my parents would leave the TV on after they were watching like some sort of supernatural show, and then wrestling would come on after. So anyway, I the first time I was ever exposed to Roddy Piper, he was in a Mario movie. And he took his bagpipes to get cleaned by Mario and Luigi because they were plumbers and they worked on pipes, which I thought was like the funniest thing ever. But I didn't realize that he was a wrestler until later, and I told my husband about that, and he had never seen that movie. So yeah. Anyway, I like how they used to get involved in like everything pop culture, and you would see wrestlers pop up in places that you wouldn't expect them to be back then. Um, which I feel like some of them are doing nowadays, or they were just on a bunch of game shows. But Kenneth, it was an April Fool's joke. We're not moving to California. That Mario segment was classic. Hey, they are going to be at GunCon. I'm excited. I wasn't allowed to watch wrestling as a kid, religious crap, so my friends and I would tag team wrestle on the neighborhood trampoline. I also we didn't have a trampoline. Thank God we didn't have one at my house, because when we there was a babysitter that we used to go to, and one of the neighbors had a trampoline, and the amount of times that I like attempted to do flips and then got my head stuck in the springs, I'm not really sure how I'm alive. I know my back's a little bit crooked, but yeah, I don't know. If we had one here, I'd probably be in a lot worse shape. I don't know. What in the world? Oh, okay. Also, in case anybody wanted to see, I got a new knife. It's gigantic and it's lovely. What do we? I forced myself to forget the Mario about that Mario movie. It was such a good one. It was such a good one. I had somebody ask me on Instagram, because I did the little questions thing today, and they were like, "What's something?" I can't remember how they worded it. If it was like, "What's something special about you?" or a special power you have, or something. And I was like, I wonder. I don't know if they meant like if you could pick a superpower, what it would be, or it's just something special about you in general. And the only thing I could think, because a bunch of weird things have been happening lately, is that my dad always tells me that I'm a disaster continuously happening. He also tells that to my mom, because we're cut from the same cloth, I guess. Um, but that's like the one that I could think of, because I just don't know anyone else that like the little things that make no sense happen to. Like you drop a pot and it hits a bowl and the bowl explodes and it cuts your Achilles tendon. That happened to me. Or we were just at NRA. My dad and I check into the hotel, and we get in the elevator, or we had to go park the car. Then we got in the elevator and we got stuck in the elevator like 10 minutes after checking in. Couldn't get out of the elevator until somebody that worked there came in from the back door, and they couldn't get the elevator to open either. So we had to go. The way the hotels were situated, there were three different Marriotts: the JW, the Fairfield, and what was the other one? Springfield Comfort Suites, something like that. Anyway, they were all situated to where they were like clustered, and there was like this internal hallway for people that work there, and they had to take us into that hallway, which was like the weirdest thing ever because they were just luggage carts as far as the eye could see, and then extra cups. I'm not really sure what for, but anyway, bye, Swamp Dog. Glad you're on here. Dale, what's up? Glad you're on here. Anyway, so luggage carts everywhere, and they had to take us this backdoor entrance to get back to the hotel because we got locked in the elevator, which I don't really understand. And then later, like 2 days later, I get locked in the elevator with there was like two girls and then somebody that was either drunk or on drugs, and they were like kind of dragging her into the elevator, and then elevator closes. I'm in there with them, and she goes ballistic, just like kicking and screaming and like it's my little elevator dance. But yeah, just going nuts. And yeah, that's the kind of stuff that just happens. So yeah. For anybody that wasn't there, NRA was really good this year, actually. It was pretty crazy busy. How do you keep getting locked in elevators? I would like to know the same thing. I'd like to know the same thing. I just don't understand either. But the amount of times that I like showed up to where everybody was hanging out, just like completely stressed out because of elevator situations at this trip, yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. I decided it's a lot safer if I put Dixie back there because the last time I had her on the channel, there was the incident that we're not talking about. But yeah. So how's everybody been the last few weeks? I have kind of started rambling about what all we did. But I don't know what y'all want to hear about next because I already talked about elevators, talked about WrestleMania slightly. You should get elevator keys. How do you do that? Like it just works to open the elevator? Tell me about these keys. eBay. Okay. Is it like one key fits all, or is it something that has to be like a specific thing? Did my to buy list get longer from NRA? Yes. Every time we go to one of these things, the list gets longer typically. Because people debut new things, or you see something you've never seen before. Rhineland Arms added a couple of things to the list. Yeah, there's quite a few things. Somebody asked that on Instagram today too, and I kind of put together a little like quick list of things that are on the to get list, but then that was just like modern stuff. That doesn't even include anything historical, which that list is lengthy and pricey compared to the new stuff. Like I could get, depending on what you're talking about, I could get one historical item. Well, it really depends. If I want something like an old Derringer or something, that's a lot cheaper, but yeah. Excuse me. But yeah, the list is continuously growing. So I feel like once I knock one thing off, like 3 other things pop up. I should actually make a legit list of everything that I'm interested in getting and just see where we land. I'm trying to work on a military rifle shoot at my gun club. Hey, that'd be really cool. We do a little fun shoot at one of our local clubs. My dad likes to put it on, and it's usually some sort of military style rifle shoot. But you can use like any era, and then people end up bringing other stuff like cowboy. People end up just kind of bringing whatever they want to run the match or run the course and get a little extra practice because it's never too busy. But it's always a lot of fun. I saw some Han Solo blasters there. Strongly considering building one like your 22. Yeah, so Battle Arms had their Solo blasters. I'm pretty sure that's who you're talking about. And I obviously found those too and was pretty excited. And I think, yeah, you should build one. But I also think that they said they're going to be selling theirs as like a full thing. So that'd be pretty cool too. Where are you going this weekend? We have a one of my cousins is getting married and there's a shower. So I'm gonna go see my grandparents and spend some time there. Go to the shower. Go shower people with love and happiness. And it's my other cousin's birthday. So I don't know what we're gonna get into, but it should be fun. Although it's just me and my mom going for this one. Dixie. I'm also surprised Monty's not up here. So I'll fill you in on what happened there too. So while we were out at WrestleMania, Monty was staying with Chad's mother, my mother-in-law, and everything was going fine except he started getting sick because apparently the dog ate something, probably here, and I'm honestly not sure. I think he probably ate a rock, is what the situation was, but he had a rock or some sort of unidentifiable object stuck, and he couldn't keep food down for like days. And of course, we weren't home, and of course he's fine up until we leave for a weekend. So I don't know if he was just trying to teach us a lesson or what, but my poor mother-in-law had to deal with all of that and deal with getting him to the emergency vet, and thank God they didn't have to like cut him open or anything. He did finally pass whatever it was, but it was horrible. And we were out there, and of course it's like you're trying to have fun at WrestleMania, but then your dog is sick, and then we thought he was fine. So the first night was totally fine because we were like, yay, he's better. He's eating again. He's not sick anymore. And then the next night it was like, okay, he's sick to the point that we have to figure out what to do. And then we get to come home the next day. So Sunday we had him taken to the emergency vet, and then we're kind of bummed out at WrestleMania. Plus it was like wah 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 on Sunday because not a lot of the stuff that I wanted to happen happened. Which is fine. It's fine. But I'm just glad he's okay. And like I said, glad he didn't have to get operated on because that would have been horrible. And then we do have pet insurance, which I'm so glad we do. Because even just the vet visit itself is pretty expensive. But turns out that Bernese mountain dogs are like the top 3 breeds for eating foreign objects and having them lodged in their stomach, which is like the most expensive thing that can happen to your animal. So now we have to watch what he eats, and he likes to try to eat everything. So yeah, that's fun. You should watch They Live if you haven't already. I have not. Would you get a motorcycle or an e-bike? Do we hear about the whole disaster continuously happening thing? Because I don't know if I need any sort of hey Mont, come here. Come here. He's standing outside the room. Monty, come here. Come here. I can't figure out what he's doing. I think he's trying to figure out who I'm talking to. When are you having another bonfire? So I have so many piles of stuff I need to burn in my yard right now because I finally cut down the rest of the trees that we wanted to get cut down, except for like 4 that I think are too big to do by myself. So waiting on those. But yeah, sometime soon. We had a couple of days that were like really low humidity, and I think they wanted like a no burn thing going on. So but it's supposed to rain tonight, so maybe tomorrow or the next day. Ron, what's up? Glad you're on here. Rapid fire crew, does that include everybody in the chat or the rabbit? Or both? Rachel does not need an e-bike. She needs an e-bike with a flamethrower attached. I like the way you think. I do have a flamethrower that could be attached. Oh, man. I can't give this away either, but I may have actually found the perfect thing for the perfect zombie gun build. And I found that at NRA since we were talking about does the list get longer and longer. But yeah, it got longer, and I think I found it. It's been raining all day. It has not been raining all day here. It's actually been like really nice weather these last couple of days, and almost cold with the wind that we've had, but really, really nice. Really nice days. I'm kind of hoping it was supposed to rain like tonight and tomorrow morning, I think. So, maybe your rain is coming here. But I'm hoping in the afternoon it doesn't because I was hoping to shoot a little bit tomorrow. Which I guess I could shoot in the rain, but everyone and the rabbit. Perfect. I think my coffee is making me sleepy. I also have no idea what's on TV now because NXT ended, so. I woke up to snow in my truck. What the heck? No, thank you. I cannot imagine snow in almost May, especially because I think we had like one night where we had a little bit of flurries. Oh my gosh, this is terrible. 10:30. Yeah, snow in almost May. That's a little much. That's a little much. Anybody on here into air guns? Because that's something that kind of caught my eye at NRA too, and I'm pretty excited about a few things there. Um, what are the what was the gas prices when you went to Cali? So the first one I saw was $7 a gallon, but that might have been because we were close to the airport. Everything else was like either high fours, but mostly like mid fives. We were a little bit all over LA too. One of our ski resorts just hit an all-time season total record of 903 inches. What the heck? That's crazy. Mid 1980s snowed in June. No, no, no. We're glad you didn't move to California. Yeah, me too. Although I did have a really nice time while I was out there visiting. I can't imagine living there, but yeah, I mean, I had a great time. Everybody was so nice out there, and the places that we ate had plastic straws, and they had a Chick-fil-A that actually had sweet tea. The prices were higher for the food though. But I mean, Chick-fil-A, plastic straws, nice people. Yeah, they did a good job on selling it for me, except that the housing prices were like the place we found, it was built into the side of a muddy hill, and it was a beautiful house. But it was like 3.5 million for this pretty small house built into the side of a mud hill that would probably slide the next time it rains a bunch. No thanks. I'd like an air gun, but they're kind of spendy for a toy I'd use for a minute. What kind have you been looking at? Because I like that I don't know how you say it, if it's Umarex or Umarex. I don't know. But those are really cool, especially like the heritage stuff they're doing. I think that's what they call it. With like the grease gun and the Thompson and a bunch of other stuff they're doing. But those are neat. Those I would consider more like toyish. But then yeah, some of them are really expensive, but they are like legit, right? Like it's not a toy. um Python Cowboy has definitely sold me on an air gun. Yeah, so that was my first ever. I mean, other than like airsoft, and then like the few things we had from Umarex or Umarex. I need to ask them how they pronounce that because I probably should pronounce that correctly. I'm also from Georgia, so if I just start sounding things out real slow, we can just take it as being from the South. Anyway. What was I going to say there? Oh, Python Cowboy. So that's the first time that I ever like used any sort of air gun for anything other than like plinking in the backyard, if you will. Because we did get the Thompson during COVID. We got the Thompson. Sorry, I just saw my phone is right here, and it distracted me. Anyway, so we did get the Thompson version from Umarex. I hate that I am now questioning how I pronounce that. Can somebody sound it out for me? But we got that because it's set up like so close to a Thompson that you can get used to like running and gunning with it. If you're doing a sub gun match and you want to use a Thompson, you can use that to practice with without using 45 ammunition because that's expensive. It's a lot cheaper way to practice and get used to like maneuvering and that kind of stuff. So we did do that for a little bit. My brother shot me in the eye with a rubber band when we were kids. Ouch. That does not sound fun. My friend has a 50 cal air gun. Yeah, like there are some legit air guns that like people hunt with, and it's pretty crazy. And that's what we did with Python Cowboy last year. I went with Brownells down to Florida. Turns out it was my birthday week, but that wasn't why we went. They brought a few of us down there, and we went hunting with air guns in the canal, and it was just crazy because they're so quiet, but they took out iguanas. Yeah, I mean, it was really neat. and they had a few different types. I'm not sure who made any of them, but there were some that were like had like a little, I don't even know what you would call it. It looked kind of like a revolver and it would spin to get through them all. It wasn't necessarily a magazine. And then some of them were like single only. So every time you shot it, you had to like reload it with these little tiny pellet things. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Um, I need to learn my air gun language because that is something I think am going to get a little bit more into. California drugs in the street. And yeah, I am thankful I didn't see any of that while I was there. There was okay, so the one thing about California and WrestleMania, the entire experience, the random hot dog stand people, right? That just show up with these little like grill things and they would make a whole loop around the door. So you had to go through this whole loop of hot dogs. I don't understand how they get there, right? So the first night we were there, we went to SmackDown, which also was the Hall of Fame induction, and we got out and there's just like hot dogs, street hot dogs everywhere. Everywhere. And then the next night we're down in Inglewood at that stadium and we get out and there's like a few hot dog people. But the next night there were so many hot dog people. They were like lined up and like cutting into traffic and like you couldn't walk 2 feet without being having a hot dog shoved in your face. Like it was a lot. And I just don't understand if they like bus them in, how they get there, if they all like jump in a van together and they're like, yeah, we're gonna go down here. Everybody has hot dogs. But yeah, that was a whole experience of its own. So didn't see a lot of drugs, did see a lot of hot dogs. Um, just got through covering tonight's Braves game, so I thought I'd drop in here for a few. Glad you did. Glad you did. Yes, they're real guns, but they're real guns, but the Tommy models sound good. I haven't seen that. They're really cool. They're really cool. And those are like very affordable. Very affordable. How's your sister doing? She's doing great. She is wonderful. She came by the range and shot with us this weekend, which was nice. All that hot dog talk kind of made me hungry. And the coffee is very cold now. I just realized it's Jurassic Park. What an appropriate movie to start playing. The music got me. I was like, that has to be Jurassic Park. What's happening over there? As an afterthought, when we started the process to get an air gun season for deer in Ohio was archery air guns. Because some air guns can take arrows. Yeah, so I saw that too while we were at SHOT Show. I saw a few air guns that had arrows, which I thought was interesting. I also saw a steambow, which has nothing to do with air. It's just cool. It's like a little crossbow, but you can use them for like varmint hunting. And I think overseas, in some countries, they use them for self-defense since they don't have access to firearms. That is something I'm getting one of those, and I am very excited to share them with you. I interviewed them at SHOT Show with media while I was working with Media Lodge. It was my first interview, and I totally embarrassed myself because I was like, you know what I'd use this for? Zombie slaying, or not zombie slaying. I think I said like vampire slaying. It's like the ultimate vampire slayer setup. And thank goodness they were like, yeah, I was actually used in a vampire series. Because I was like, I can't believe I just said that in an interview. I'm embarrassing myself, but yeah, they totally went with it. So yeah, those are pretty cool though. I had to get off here for a second, so I don't know if I was asked yet, but what was your favorite thing about NRA? Favorite thing about NRA. It was just a really good show. Like I can think of more things that I didn't enjoy than I can think of like this was the best thing ever because I had a lot of good times while I was there. And I got to talk with so many people, which I loved. The things I didn't like though, I'll jump into those. I didn't like the way it was set up to where it was really hard to find booth numbers. So if you were looking for a number, I didn't even know where you're supposed to be looking, and then things weren't lined up in a line. There'd be like number, 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 big booth, number, 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 and then like 3 rows on the other side instead of two. So that made it a little bit difficult for navigating. And my dad and I almost got fussy with each other at one point because I was like, "It's over here," and he's like, "No, it's over here." Um, and he was right. He was right, but hopefully he's not on here so he doesn't hear me say that he was right. Um, yeah. So didn't really like that it was set up like that, but there was a lot of companies there this year. There were a lot that weren't there, and I think their presence was definitely missed. But there was a lot of companies, like, I actually didn't get to everyone that I was trying to get by to see. Um, so I hate that, but I did bump into a bunch of companies that I had either never heard of, or there's one actual jewelry company, which I'm not a big jewelry girl, but there's a lot of like shell casing earrings and necklaces and that, and there's Dixie. Hey, where are you going? Where are you going? Anyway, I found some folks that do like splats. So like cowboy action, if you're shooting like the lead rounds and stuff into the steel, it's always fun to go look for splats. And they take these and then they mold them and then they fill it with straight silver and then they like coat it with different things to give it a different look. Um, so that was pretty cool. I did buy an earring or a pair of earrings from them, and then found out they're also in Georgia. And hopefully, are getting a website together because I will print out their stuff because I love it. So really excited to meet them. And then yeah, I got to talk to a lot of people I'd either never met or had only seen on the internet. So that's pretty cool. Um, Also, other thing I didn't like about it, I always get popcorn while I'm at these shows, and they didn't have any popcorn. So that was a downside too. But everything else was really great. I will say too, the first day we showed up, we got in a little bit late. It was our late day, and we went down the escalator, and there's just like metal detectors everywhere. Um, so I was like, am I not supposed to have like, I'm not supposed to be armed while I'm here? I didn't really sign up for that. And turns out, oh, Chad's taking the dog out. Heard the door. We need some WD-40. Anyway, I was like, am I not supposed to be armed? Because I didn't sign up for that. And it turns out we were on the side where they were doing all the conferences and stuff. So there was like this line all the way around the building to see Trump speak. And we did not do that. Number one, because I'm not going to be unarmed, especially at something like this. But yeah, so we also had other stuff to do. And that kind of freaked me out. The whole like just there was like a line of metal detectors, and then we figured out that wasn't what we were trying to get into. So yeah. What do you think about Walmart leaving Chicago? I'm interested to see how many more places large companies leave and when people will start understanding that like companies should be able to protect themselves the same way people should be able to protect themselves. And while you're trying to pass all these laws that are creating a safe zone for criminals only, you're ruining it for everyone else, including business. And the more companies that leave, the better, I think. They'll just leave Chicago a wasteland. Love to see you on unsubscribed podcast. Hey, let me know. No popcorn, how rude. And I'm going to now I'm going to make popcorn. I may or may not have had popcorn for lunch. Okay, I did. Did you get your photos done? No, I didn't. I actually was going to text you about that today, and then I remembered it was your birthday. So I was going to text you tomorrow and see what you're doing. I need pictures. Companies leaving blue cities after having cheered on the, excuse me. Yeah, it is pretty funny, right? It is pretty funny. I'm on the corporations getting what they deserve and glad to hear all losing and pulling out. I just wish we lived in a world where people respected each other. And I know that's asking a lot, but I don't know. It'd be nice. There's a lot of things that could be nice. be. Switching to water for a second. Yeah, so what else, guys? Otherwise I'm gonna start winding things down here. Good refresher on coming back live. Did you hear about Biden running for president 2024? Yes, I did. I did. I think it's interesting. Anybody else have thoughts on Biden running in 2024? Because all I'm going to say is it's interesting. But he had to tell Siri to write his speech. Probably. And then probably somebody else had to proofread it. And then probably somebody had to program his robot self to do it. He wants to get something done, that's for sure. Run back to Delaware, that's funny. Yeah, I don't know. That's gonna be interesting. I'm honestly not ready for I'm not ready for election year. I thought the last one was horrible, and I'm not ready for the commercials. I'm not ready for the spam mail. I'm not ready for the tension that it's going to bring, because that's just how elections are. Like, they're nasty and ugly and um draining, and people post outlandish things that they would never say to you in person, but they'll post on the internet. And then it's like, wait, are we friends? Are we not friends? Thought we were friends, but what you just posted says we're not friends because we believe differently, and that's just not how things are. And sorry, I'm not going to rant too much on this, but yeah, I just hate election year. I do use my right to vote, and I do vote, but I hate election years, especially in the last few. I voted in I will admit there's a couple of local elections that I've missed before, but I do try to vote every time I can. But I don't really love election periods because it's just always ugly now. It's just always ugly. I saw Robert F. Kennedy's running too, but they'll never let him talk. I would be surprised. I would be surprised if anybody yeah, I don't know. I only saw 3 other Democrats opposing him, but maybe there's a 4th I haven't heard of yet. I've always voted early. I've never voted on election day. So, and typically, I mean, sometimes there has occasionally been a long line, but it's never been like too chaotic. I just don't like the leading up to it time. Um, yeah. Anyway, something other than elections, because I am not excited to talk about that for the next year. Here in Massachusetts, Kennedy got no coverage on Boston news channels. Yeah, I never hear anything from him except for what I see on Twitter, and I do try to keep up with everybody. Well, not everybody, but I do try to keep up with what's going on in the world. And my husband helps to keep me up to date on things because he's wonderful, and he reads more than I do. Dixie, get down. So is California thing an April Fool's joke? Yes, it was an April Fool's joke. And yes, the bunny is here tonight, and she's finally started moving again, so I know she's alive, which is great. I've been watching too much news, definitely need a break. Yeah, so we actually took a break from Atlanta news today, and we went and watched the Fort Myers news because typically they have either a lot less, like Atlanta news is like shooting, somebody ran over this person, something crash on I-20, crash on 85. Bill, you are in the news, you know about Atlanta news. Um, so we switched to Fort Myers because when my husband was working down there, gosh, that was like 2 years ago now. But when he was working down there, we used to stay up because the 11 o'clock news is like the news to watch. And it's so entertaining because they had like the soda slinger and the mango tree bandit and like all these like ridiculous crimes that they were like reporting on, or if you have more news on this, call us here, or the owls are dig a hole in your yard to help with the ground owls. I can't remember what kind of owls they were, but anyway, the news down there was so much more fun. And then it was switched to like bandit entered house and stole child, but it'd be like some northern city and not anywhere near Fort Myers, Florida. So love Fort Myers news. It's really entertaining and definitely not anything like Atlanta. And they did have, what did they have today? I'm trying to remember what they had. They're talking about reopening a school and well water drying up. Oh well. That that was a bad joke. Oh well joke, but it was a bad joke. um I just watch YouTube. I can bring the python by. Bunny problem, no more hate. The rabbit is not the problem, except when she's misbehaving over there. But she's been pretty good. Your bunny is gonna fall off. No, she will not. She's actually pretty good about that. She will sometimes try to knock over everything that's up there though. Um and she already knocked over her little goat gun, and she occasionally will throw the Uzi off that. But I pushed the TV all the way back too, so she couldn't climb behind there because she does try to do that sometimes, and I don't trust her around cords. I'm just waiting for the chaos to ensue. Yeah, same. It was all jokes. Rabbits are the softest. They are sweet. I do miss my other rabbit, and I'm still kind of on the fence of getting her a friend. Why couldn't the blind man get water? That's funny. I do appreciate a joke. So the last gun and military surplus auction I went to, I found out they were having two more. Hey, where is that? Because I would like to know. I also, when we drive up for GunCon, I think that we're trying to carve out a little time either before or after to go by Rock Island, which would be probably really fun, probably really bad for my wallet, but I am really excited because I love getting their emails and I love seeing them at NRA, and it is a dream to go to an auction. Um, it'd be fun to go to their live auction, but I don't know if we can like fit that in. I'm pretty sure they're in Iowa. Pretty sure. I'm actually not 100% sure on that though, but I know Brownells does a bunch of stuff with them, so I'm pretty sure they're in Iowa. But yeah, I want to go see them. That is on my list. So anyway, did you see how much the prices jumped? No. I'm not sure. Dixie, are you sure? Did you see how much the prices jumped? Oh, y'all are talking about inflation, maybe? I'm lost. Anyway, okay, yeah, so I'm about to head out here, but it was so good to be back, and I am thinking really fast. We'll be back next Tuesday. I won't leave y'all hanging for another 3 weeks, I promise. We can pinky promise. I don't know if we could do that on the internet, but we can just pretend. So yeah, Channel 11 in Fort Myers has the best news in the area. Yes, it does. It's amazing. So yeah, I'll be back next Tuesday, and I'm glad y'all all are hanging in there with me and forgave me for not being here the last 3 weeks. Have you met Alexandra and Heather Lynn? So yes, I have a couple of videos on here with Alex and Heather. May have embarrassed myself, but but I did just meet her at SHOT Show officially. I follow her and feel like I could be her friend. And maybe we will be friends one day, but I did finally get to meet her at SHOT Show this year, which was great. We took pictures together, and then I was like, I can't post this because I'm embarrassed of why I hadn't decided I need to squat and do finger guns in the middle of in the middle of a casino. But whatever. It was really great meeting her too. She's really sweet, and I like to get to know her better. But yeah, how about 100% on time for the next ramble? That is asking a lot. You want me to be on time? I showed up, didn't I? I've never been on time one time, but maybe we can make it next week. Maybe we'll make it next week. Hey, cut that out. All right, I gotta go. She's chewing on her harness. Thanks for being on here. I will see y'all next week. And how do I end this? Maybe we'll be on time.